What is going on, guys? Thank you again for tuning into the channel. And today what we're going to cover is striker fire pistols. Now there are tons on the market. There's Glock, Smith & Wesson, Springfield, M&P. There's an endless number. So what we're going to cover today is how to properly clear those types of pistols. So first things first, I'm going to give you an orientation to the pistol that I'm using. And all striker fire pistols are built very, very similar. So they're all going to have the same buttonology, the same, their locations may be slightly different, but they're all going to present pretty much the same. So what I'm using is my brand new Shadow Systems MR920. I just got this in a little bit ago, and I am super pumped to take this thing out to the range. So first thing that we're going to cover is the buttons that you need to know and what they do. So right here, generally right behind your trigger, you're going to have this button. This is your mag release. So on here you can see that. Now this is my mag. This is a dummy round, or a snap cap as they call it. So what it does is it has a spring right here where the primer would be to help protect your firing pin. So if I put that magazine in, it's locked in there. Once I press this button, it'll fall free. So that right there is your magazine release. So the next thing that you're going to want to look at is right here. So usually on the frame, or on the top of the slide, right where your slide meets your frame, you will see a little lever that looks like this. Now this is your slide lock or slide release. Some people call it different things. So what you're going to want to do with this one is you want to push this one straight up into the slide. There's a little notch right here that you want that slide lever or slide lock, whatever you want to call it, to get into, and that will lock your slide to the rear. So if I push up and pull this all the way back, it'll catch on that little notch right there, and that is gonna lock my slide to the rear. So what that does is it gives me access to look into my chamber, bolt face, and magazine well. You're gonna wanna do this, and this is gonna be one of those things that when you first get your pistol, it's gonna be a little difficult to find out how to do it and things like that, because you're new to it, right? The last thing you want to do is be putting your hand in front of the muzzle or anything like that. So it takes a little bit of time. So for newer gunners, what I recommend is just grabbing the firearm like this, having a good grip on it, keeping the finger out of the trigger well, and you're going to pull back with this hand. If you want to pull this way, you can, or you can grab it with a reverse grip, as we call it, and pull back. And you're going to do the same thing. While you're pulling back, you're going to be pushing up with this thumb. This thumb is going to be pushing this notch straight up. Once you feel it get locked in there, you can go ahead and take your hands away. That's something that's going to take a little bit of time to get used to and things like that. I am also using a T-Rex arm sidecar holster, just so that way, as I'm showing the magazine, I can have a place to store my firearm. As I'm showing something with the firearm, I have a place to store my magazine. So what I'm going to be using is this red round here. It's called a snap cap. This is going to be what I'm using to demonstrate what it would look like with a round in the chamber. So this is not a live round. This is considered a snap cap again. It has a little spring in the back. It's basically a little piece of, some of them are plastic, some of them are metal. It just depends on which ones you get. And it's used for training, so I can do magazine changes and things like that, and my slide won't lock to the rear. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And then also I'm using PMag. I think they're PMag 15s for the Glock 9. It's 9mm, but it has a bright orange follower, and that's going to be a little helpful for us to see what that's going to be like. So first thing that we're going to cover is I'm going to go ahead and load the pistol with that snap cap, so it is not a live round. So first step in the clearing process is drop the magazine. So you want to drop the magazine because this is where all of your rounds are going to be. All of your rounds are going to be right here in this magazine, and if you don't drop this, every time you rack that slide back, another round is just going to feed straight into the chamber. So a good way to remember this is how the media likes to put out that these things, that firearms are animals, they're beasts, they're dangerous, this, that, and the other. Well, if that's the case, this is its food source. So this is how you feed the beast. If you drop the magazine from it, you have one round in the chamber. It's still got something in its stomach, but it's not going to eat anymore, if that makes sense. I know that's a really stupid way of thinking of it, but some people it really helps remember. So once you drop the magazine, the next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna take this slide release or slide lever, push it up, and you're gonna pull the slide to the rear. Now, as you just saw, that round ejected out of my chamber. So now you're gonna look in 3 different places. You're gonna look in the chamber. So the chamber is right here. You can see this gold piece. You can kind of see my gold barrel in there. You wanna check in there to ensure that there are no rounds in the chamber and there's no debris in the chamber. The next thing that you're gonna look at is your bolt face, which is this piece right here. And this is where your firing pin, your extractor, your ejector, all of those things come into play. And you're gonna look in your magazine well. So your magazine well is just like that to make sure that there is light and you don't have the magazine in it. Now, once you have done that, you can use your slide release to let your slide go, and your firearm is now cleared. It's as simple as that. Clearing a firearm is not difficult, it's just very dangerous because this is where people get very, very complacent. So in this room that I'm in right now, there is no live ammunition. I brought this firearm from a room that I keep it loaded and ready to go. I cleared it out there. I brought just the firearm and an empty magazine into this room where there's no ammunition. And that's just to build a redundancy because everybody makes mistakes, and the last thing that I want to do is grab a magazine when I'm thinking I'm grabbing a dummy round. I grab a live magazine and I end up sitting here just continuously loading and unloading my firearm because accidents happen. So building redundancies really, really helps when you're a new gun owner. Thanks again, guys, for tuning into the channel. Please hit that like and subscribe button. If you didn't like the video, then that's fine. You've got your opinions. They're probably wrong. But go ahead and send a comment down at the bottom. Let me know what I did wrong, what I can fix. And keep tuning into the channel. We're going to have some cool things. I've got a red dot that I'm actually putting on my MR920. I've got this that I still need to do a review of. I've got another optic that I just put on my new bolt action that I'm going to be tinkering around with. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on. The next video series are going to be over your stance and your grip with a pistol, and then I'm going to go into a rifle, and we're going to go through things like that. So stay tuned, but as always, learn something every day, get better every day, and stay safe out there.